Good afternoon, it's Tony Hayes from Paranormal Investigation UK. Today is the 26th of July 2022, just coming up to 12:30. Today I'm doing a quick review on some more audio sent in from Somerset Paranormal EVP Penni Wallace. Always get some good and interesting, intriguing audio for Penny, so I always look forward to doing these. Penny's indicating it's around about 9 seconds, so it's going to be around about this point here. So let's have a listen through this.
Beyond the church there, she was quite brutal.
Ah, that sounds very clean and clear.
Beyond the church there, she was quite brutal.
Okay, that's a good piece of audio, that is. Let's see where Penny is. Yeah, it's a WAV file. For those that are interested in EVP, if you're using a digital recorder, if you're going to buy a digital recorder, ensure that the option to save in WAV file, or WAV, W-A-V or W-A-V-E, both means the same size, is an option. MP3 really was designed just to allow the file to be emailed, for example. So a 3-minute recording will be about 3.5 megabytes of data or size as an MP3, and about 35 megabytes as a WAV file, simply not able to email, and that's what it was for. But many people abuse that option and just saving files as MP3, and the thing is with it gets compressed. Now I can hear compression when the audio has been saved as an MP3. So the quality, if you save in MP3, is already decided to deteriorate because of the format you use it. So always save in WAV file. Generally, the option will be noted at 44,100 16-bit. So an MP3 file in top format in MP3 is 320 kbps. The file here, pennies, is 1536 kbps. Much size, a big difference between 320 and 1500. So pennies on the right thing there. I may well have suggested to at some point and set their options in the recorder and saving it top quality, and I really genuinely can hear the difference because it's uncompressed, it's not being squashed, and here in the raw file. So when it comes to enhancement, it's much easier for me then to get the best out of it. So that's a cracking, because some of the stuff I get sent to me is pretty bad, and it's a shame really that it's been saved that way. Right, okay, let's get back to the reason why I'm here.
Beyond the church there, she was quite a brutal woman, and she just didn't like this girl that was her sort of this girl. She just didn't like this. She just didn't like this girl. Didn't like this girl that was her sort of skivvy.
Right, I'm pretty certain that Penny mentioned yeah, okay. Sounds different. Okay. So I've got a couple of things you need to look at here. One is 5 seconds, which Penny's suggesting possibly wind noise. Just want a second opinion on that, which is fine. And the other one is at 9 seconds. It's but Penny's talking at the same time. Not uncommon with EVP. Sometimes you get a voice, but I can understand why Penny's suspicious with this one. I'm not suspicious, thinking it's something interesting, because the EVPs do stand out a little bit to be different than someone actually speaking. The beauty about this audio, I don't need to do much with it, to be honest. So let's look at the first one, which is the question of the where Penny's suggesting this is wind noise. So let's have a look at that first.
Brutal woman, and brutal woman, and brutal woman, and
Penny's been right to be suspicious. I don't think that's wind noise. It doesn't sound like wind noise. If this is big bass frequency, I think I know what it is, because I've come across it before. Oops, wrong one. Yeah, it is. Space frequency. It's a microphone strike. Had it been wind noise, I wonder if I've got a sound sample on wind noise. There we go. That'll do. That one will do. This is just an example. It's not exact going to be the exact science of it. Just pop an audio track in there. I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to have to turn that down. Okay, so what happens is, if we look at Penny's first, well, let's look at the wind noise first. Wind is air travelling over the microphone area of the microphone placement on the recorder. Obviously a guard across them. It hits that. Sound generally travels by air anyway, through the molecules of the air, and what you get is almost like white noise spread running across. Quite troublesome, because it covers all of the frequency spectrum, and if you've got something hidden within it, it's almost impossible for me to get rid of it. Some of the earlier recordings from for Penny did have some wind noise, so the suggestion was to just, you don't need to get a popper microphone foam. You can just use a sock. The intention is just to stop the wind noise. It won't stop if it's something, often we can hear wind. It's not going to stop that, because obviously that's a genuine sound. But what it's to stop is air brushing over the microphone, which is what the intention to stop. So, for example, as you see with this one, I reduce the volume down, as you get that. Now, Penny's is different. Now, I've had that 5 or 6 times in probably close to 25-30 years of conducting EVP. One of the occasions happened to me. I was alone in a cellar years ago with a recorder, and I was just sat on the cellar steps, and the recorder's in the centre of the floor. And then when I reviewed it back, I heard that sound. So once I heard it, I remembered, yeah, I've heard this sound before. That is microphone strike. Now, it's a strange one, because if you've got a recorder, you can do this experiment at home. Just locate, you can even do it on a mobile phone, locate where your microphone or microphones are. Just pick on one microphone and just very lightly brush your finger across it, or just slightly tap. You don't need to hit it hard, and you'll be amazed just how loud this can get. It's very distinct bass frequency there. Nothing really after 500 hertz. Wind covers all of it. And if I went back even further, so that's what you get. Very different sounding. So Penni is absolutely, I'll get rid of that trend now, we've seen enough of that, was absolutely right with that. That is undoubtedly mic strike. I'll just take it a little bit further.
Woman.
How close is she, I wonder?
Woman. It was quite brutal.
See, that's Penni talking, which is that there.
It's quite brutal.
Quite brutal. I think what she's saying, that this place is some sort of awful murder, some really violent male.
It was quite brutal.
So that's quite interesting when you then look at the microphone strike. The only thing that Penni's really got to, just to confirm, I don't. I've dealt with hundreds of vocalists when they're recording in the studio, where the vocalist, either with his lips or his teeth sometimes, strikes the microphone. It sounds different. It is different, and it's going to be a massive, huge peak of frequency because he's hitting it quite hard with either the lips or the teeth. I would imagine that when Penni's doing this EVP session, is that the recorder is either going to be stationary somewhere, or if she's carrying it, she carry it at the front of the recorder, and the microphones will be pointing outwards so that she doesn't come in contact with them. She's not going to hold it against her mouth. I'm presuming that, but Penni knows what she's doing. So I would imagine when she listens to this, she'll come back to me and say, yeah, definitely, this is the circumstances around it. And then once she confirms that, she can actually say that she's had a microphone strike. Because it's interesting, because she's talking about something brutal, which she's talking about this male, and suddenly the microphone gets struck.
Brutal woman.
Which it makes it even more intriguing. There's no doubt I'll nail my hat on with that one. It is a microphone strike. Not uncommon, but relatively rare. I recorded, like I say, 5 or 6 in 25-30 years of doing stuff. It's left to the imagination just exactly what is occurring here? Is it some form of energy? Because a ghost isn't going to go and tap a microphone. It doesn't happen. They haven't. It's not a physical. It has to be some form of energy transfer. It's left to the imagination how the hell it all works. But what I can say is that is a microphone strike. I've heard hundreds with vocalists that have hit lips and teeth on microphones, and I've dealt with paranormal phenomena where the microphones tend to get struck. I've never been able to give a reason behind it, but that's quite a capture, and Penny is absolutely bang on right to be suspicious, because had she not had the sock on, she may well have presumed it was socks. So putting the sock on there, he's actually aided her to think, that's a bit strange, and sure enough it is. It's a good one, that. Right, so we're now on to the second one, which is the Penny explained it. So yeah, this is right, that's okay. It's in between, around about when Penny's talking. There's going to be a different, but I know how to find a way around as well.
Didn't like this girl. Didn't like this girl. Didn't like this girl. She just didn't like this girl. She just didn't like this girl that was her. She just didn't like this girl that was her.
I'm not so sure about this one. It's about 9 seconds. Right. I just can't hear anything. So the way I'm thinking I'm going to work, I'm going to time stretch it. At the moment it's 11 seconds. I'm going to stretch the time. We'll take it to about 16 seconds. And so I'm going to time stretch it by 5 seconds, which is just over 50%. Just to see if I can slow it down enough to make a difference. So I slow it down 150. Yeah, it's just about 16.5 seconds now. That's where the sound, I'll just put that little dot there so I know whereabouts it was.
Like this girl that was her sort of like this girl that was her sort of skinny, like this girl that was her sort of skinny, like this girl that was her sort of skinny, like this girl that was her sort of skinny. She just didn't like this girl that was her sort of skinny.
Right, the way I'm going to work with this one, this is going to be a two-parter, because I can't hear the unless I've interpreted it differently. Yeah, we covered the mic, but it sounded different. The is at 9 seconds. She's very specific, and she's good with these. So if Penny says 9 seconds, she means 9 seconds. She doesn't mean 10, 11 or 8. But what I have heard is something at the end. What I'm actually going to do, I'm going to take it back to its original condition, which is there. Let's go from 7 seconds. There should be the but I can't hear it.
She just didn't like this girl that was her sort of skinny. She just didn't like this girl that was her sort of skinny. Like this girl, like this girl like this, girl like this, girl like this, girls, 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 girl, 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 girls, girls, girls. Like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this.
I'm just really not sure with that. But what's got me interested at the end, because that's a different voice. You've got Penny speaking, what sounds like
girl that was a sort of skivvy, 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 girl that was a sort of skivvy. She just didn't like this girl that was a sort of skivvy. She just didn't like this.
That's a different voice. So this may, small section of 11 seconds, it may be 3 things in there. So we've got the microphone strike. There is a sound, but I'm not convinced it's it sounds more like a secondary strike onto the microphone, because it
like this girl that was a sort of skivvy. She just didn't like this girl that was a...
Let me just see if we can get a fix on this.
Like this, 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 like this.
I really don't know what that is. Yeah, it may be one of them that I'll have a look again in a second when I've slowed it down a little bit more. But what Penny's saying here, she's talking about a story about some individual, quite brutal.
Girl that was a sort of skivvy. She just didn't like this girl that was...
She just didn't like...
Girl that was a sort of skivvy. She just didn't...
And she's like, she just didn't like this. I'm not sure what she says then, but this second voice sounds like a male saying she does or he does.
She just didn't like this girl that was a sort of skivvy. She just didn't like this girl that was a sort of skivvy. She just
does, and it's different. And we bring it a bit closer.
Girl that was a sort of skivvy. Girl that was a sort of skivvy. Girl.
That's a different voice. That is different. In fact, you just never know. I wanted to do this today because it's I thought it was going to be the easiest, and typical in this game, you go to the one you think you're going to be able to sort out the quickest, and it ends up the more complicated and the more interesting. So let me paste that in there. So is that one, copy. Okay, so all I've done here, the original audio is just over 11 seconds long, which is that. I've copied, this is the suspect one, this is Penny talking. And what we're going to do now, we're going to mute that. So all I've done, I've not cut it out, I've just simply duplicated it. a little bit smaller, and we're going to compare. I can see visually anyway. There's a difference. We're going to compare the voices to rule in or out. Are both of them Penny? Because what I'm hearing here, excuse me, is Penny talking about some brutal shit, something quite negative against somebody, and a male voice saying does. So let's put it out to.
Sort of skivvy, sort of skivvy, sort of skivvy, sort of skivvy.
Yeah, because it's partly speaking on top of Penny. So, plus it sounds different. It sounds like a male. Right, so what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to slow it down. But before I do that, let's bring in some EQ. There's some, let's analyse it. So, track 2 is Penny talking. Okay. I'm going to put them both together. Track 3 is a suspect voice, which is that one. So this one is that, track 2, as you can see there, track 2, track 3, this one is that one. And we're going to analyse both voices. I'm going to use the average. You're going to hear them both at the same time, because obviously rather than one being after it, I've actually playing them at the same time. So you can actually see live now why I suspect these are two different sounds.
Sort of skivvy, 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 sort of skivvy.
Have I got mixed up?
Sort of skivvy, sort of skivvy, sort of skivvy.
I have. How on earth have I managed to do that?
Sort of skivvy, sort of skivvy, sort of skivvy. Sort of skivvy, sort of skivvy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just bear with me a second.
Sort of skivvy, sort of skivvy, sort of skivvy. Girl that was her 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 sort of skivvy. Sort of skivvy, 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 sort of skivvy, sort of skivvy, sort of skivvy, sort of skivvy, sort of
Right, I think I know what I've done. Right.
didn't like this girl that was a sort of skivvy. Didn't like this girl that was a sort of skivvy. Didn't like.
Yeah, what's actually happening here is that Penny talks just after. So what I am going to have to do is, I thought I'd duplicated the same one for a second, but I haven't. So let's just mute that again. Took that one out of the way. Just bear with me. I'm going to just need to do a little bit more work with this. I am going to time stretch it. I better make it an accurate cut then. Let's take that to I'll do 150 again. The same with the other one. Okay, should make it a bit easy for me now.
Sort of skivvy. Sort of skivvy. Sort of skivvy.
Okay.
Sort of skip.
Really, very difficult to. Let's take it to 200.
Sort of skip. Sort of.
Okay, now got it.
Sort of.
Because what I want to try and do is to either exclude or include Penny as being the responsible, not responsible, but is the person speaking rather than somebody else. So I need to get an absolute section of the suspect voice, which I've got now, and at the same time do the same with Penny's. And because of the fact that I've slowed it down to 200, I've slowed it down by 100%. I need to do now the same with Penny, because the frequency will be affected otherwise. So all I've got to do now is to find out where Penny's talking.
Sort of scary.
So what we can do,
scary, scary,
and that's Penny talking. Okay, pop that in there. Solo both of them, and now, so let me just go one at a time, just play this a couple of times. So the first one is the suspect voice, which sounds male. Okay. The other voice is Penny speaking almost just after it.
Scary, scary.
At the same time, keeping an eye on the actual volume of these.
Scary.
Okay.
Scary.
Right. Stop that. So we're going to play them now, both at the same time. Let's clean the pipes. Both going to average. So what it's going to take is an average frequency excuse me, of the sample, which is only about, what's that, 11, 12, about a second. So track 2, the one on the left, is the male, or what I think is the male, and the third one is I think is Penny, and I think these are going to be both going to be different. They're very, very, very similar, but different at the same time. I expected to see a greater difference, but we are talking a male and female voice here. They're not going to be significantly different. The key area is what is referred to as the fundamental frequencies. So we're around about, say, 150, which is the male. It tends to be more bassy than the female, which is starts about 120 hertz compared to 150. So it is a little bit one of them questions of what is it that's going on. They certainly sound different. Let's play it back, front to back. This is the suspect male first. I'll play it 2-3 times. Now, where we definitely know it's Penny. Swap them back round again. Yeah, this vacancy isn't there, is it? Well, I can definitely say it is a voice. It's not some sort of synthetic sound that sounds like a voice. I'm actually going to save this file in case I need to do any more work with it. So the first one at 5 seconds that Penny mentioned is a definite microphone strike. I've dealt with that before. There's one at 9 seconds which is I can't really hear anything even when I slow it down. So maybe one of those we're just going to have to just you can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. And then we've got this one at the end. It may well be that Penny's got a much longer piece of audio that you can have a look at and refer to, just to see. Certainly, the voice that speaks before and after is different to this other voice. It's in the sense it's certainly on ears. It does sound different, and the frequency is definitely within voice frequency as well, which is the important one. You may, depending on what media you listen to, I'm on studio headphones and amplified as well. It sounds male to me. So, right, Penny, it's down to yourself. A couple of things that you can come back to me on. I'll be interested in hearing what you're going to say. Okay, speak to you soon. Bye.